Okay, so next up we have one of my favorite tools, the Moz Keyword Explorer, and I'm using my free community account for this video, and you can see that I have 5 queries available daily. Well, that's actually way more than you would think, because watch this, we're just going to go ahead and use that top term that we have so far as volume. And by the way, you might want to do several of these, but for now I'm just going to do one for this video demonstration. Go ahead and click search. Now, it's going to give us a couple of things. First of all, it's going to tell us a little bit about the keyword and the search volume, the difficulty, and this is a lot like the KW Finder stats that I showed you earlier. I find that Moz's stats are typically a little more accurate than some of the others. They use some of their own metrics. Sometimes I'm not happy with the Moz stats, so it just really depends. But it's definitely a reputable tool. And the real power here is in the keyword suggestions. Right here where it says see all 1,000 keyword suggestions. So what we can do is click on that, and then we can export this CSV. Now when we open this, it's going to give us all of the 1,000 suggestions. Sometimes a little more, a little less than 1,000, but approximately 1,000 suggestions. And it gives them to us by relevance. Now, in this case, there's going to be a lot that have NA for search volume, and you have to decide, if you want to. Sometimes you may just want to go ahead and sort by the search volume here in Moz, and sometimes you may want to keep some of these that say NA. Because NA basically just means that Moz doesn't have enough data to tell you whether or not that term has consistent monthly volume. So there may be some volume, some of the other tools may turn it up, or there may not be. Usually though, at this point, I like to just go ahead and do some sorting. So what I'll do, in fact, what I'm going to do first, I'm going to keep all of this, and I'm going to go ahead and put it over in my other spreadsheet. So we'll just drag that over here, and I'll just do Moz Keyword Explorer, and this was for Boudoir OKC. And I do that because you may want to do several of these from Moz. This could be really helpful later in coming back and kind of finding some long tail keywords. You already can see some of these things that are very loosely related. They're not as relevant, but they could be really helpful in figuring out how people are searching and what you might want to optimize for. See, like even for example, just down here seeing boudoir photo shoot with the space, that gets quite a bit of search volume, and that may be something I wanted to go back and add into my original searches to see if any of those have any volume. I'm not sure if I use that exact term earlier or not. So there's all kinds of little things you can find by looking at this data, but for right now, what I want to do is I'm going to just select everything and go to data, and we'll turn on the filters, and we're going to go here to relevance, and we're going to get rid of anything that's a 1, 2, or a 3. We're only going to keep 4 and 5 relevance. So you can see right now that's already got us down to just around 40 or so. Again, you could keep some of these and manually go through them and pick which ones you want and add them to your head terms and check the volume with another tool. But for right now, I'm going to actually go in here. I'm going to get rid of anything that's an NA. And that gives us these that are left. And I can just keep these filters on and turn them back off later if I want to go back in and look at some of the long tail options. But I'm going to copy this and add it over here to my head terms. And that's really all I'm doing here for Moz. Again, that was just one example. You could do that for 5 or 6 different terms. You could go back here and grab one of these different ones. You're going to get most of the same suggestions, but you may get something slightly different. You might get something different if you use Edmund. And so you could go ahead and try that with a couple of different ones and add those to your list, anything you come up with. And you could also use this in the end. So like maybe after you've used your 5 for today, getting all of this volume, later on you may want to go back into Keyword Explorer just to look at the difficulty whenever you're trying to make a final decision. That could be really handy later. All right, so that is Moz Keyword Explorer. We have one more tool coming up.